So it's been a while since I've talked about anything writing based, but if you've seen any of my previous videos on OC activities and things to do with those, you've probably seen me mention Foretelling, and recently I've gotten back into the habit of updating a bunch of things in there. I wasn't aware of all of the features that they've added recently, and I think they're adding even more. There was another video talking about that, and I might link it in the description, but I just wanted to talk about Foretelling as an app and some of my favorite features that come from Foretelling, why I like them so much. Starting off, the thing that got me into Foretelling was the linking feature. You can link two characters together and go into depth about their link. You can link them also with places, groups, a bunch of other different elements, and I think that's really neat. I don't know if there's any other writing-based apps that do this, but it's probably my favorite feature of Foretelling and helps me a lot in strengthening the bonds of each of the characters that I have, what exactly their perspectives are on each other, how that changes over time. They added a lot of extra categories in the linking feature recently with evolution over time and a bunch of other things to fill out, so I thought that was really neat. That's probably the reason why I picked Foretelling out of every other writing-based application for OCs or just writing in general. Second off, I'm pretty sure this is a newer feature, or at least I wasn't aware of it until maybe like last week when I was playing around, but that's Pinboards. And it works essentially the same way that you would see other writing platforms or OC platforms, in the sense that you're physically linking all of these elements together instead of just writing about them. For a while I was wondering, where did the perspectives part of the links feature go in Foretelling, but they moved over to boards, and that's where the two different perspectives thing comes into play. And I don't know, I love the ability to talk about the different perspectives on the relationship. It makes more sense for it to be in boards, so I understand why they moved it. I think just to be able to physically see the links and how they all connect to each other and how messy they can get, I think it's really cool. I have yet to really mess around with the entirety of the features that exist in the Pinboard. I'm still very new to this. I think I've made some sense of it. There are other places that I think offer this feature, but I'm just happy it's on Foretelling so I don't have to move to another platform in order to do all of the linking together in that way. One of the newer things that I just noticed too while updating a bunch of different OC profiles was the sliders feature, as well as being able to put descriptions or quick sentences about some of the categories. You can also add sliders now, and it's basically like a 1 to 5, 1 to 10 on simple characteristics. I think they added it in some of the strengths and weaknesses category, and also I think in the social category, but I could be mistaken there. I thought that was really helpful, and if the sliders thing isn't up to your speed, you can switch it out for just the basic writing. So if you wanted to just write about their strengths instead of using the sliders feature, that's an option too. I think that saves a lot of time on my end. Instead of having to write out everything, I can just switch it to the sliders. I love sliders. I think they're really cool, and I'm glad that Foretelling has added that feature to play around with. Trust I will be using it. Okay, so this next one has been around for a while. At least that's what I can remember. And it's basically just a simple taggings feature. I don't know, I love to color code things. I have a lot of different elements that I can technically code into different colors. I just go ham with that. It's not really like an extra categorization, though I think that could be the case for some other people. I just like to add pretty colors to things, and so in that case, I love the taggings feature, seeing them right next to different elements that I add it to, like characters or on the timeline. I think they just add to the app in general, and while I don't really use it for actual categorizing at all, I think it's a really neat tool and a great resource in general. So, if you're somebody who really likes to tag everything, then this is a great feature, or if you just want colors on your thing. And I'm pretty sure they're adding a custom theme feature, but I could be mistaken on that, and I think it might be behind Pro. So, don't quote me on that. moving on to their timelines, I've been updating the timeline for my OC universe for a while now, and I just really love the way that they structure their timelines in particular. It's obviously, linear, but it's also very rudimentary, so I don't have to worry about adding a bunch of different components, getting myself confused. It's very clean cut, and I think the end result looks really nice, and I'm able to make sense of it pretty quick. It did take me a while to differentiate between events and moments. I think that's the two different categories you can put something in. But after that, it's very, very simple. An event is a very long description sort of thing, while a moment is a short-term period, so you just kind of write a couple sentences. So events are the big thing, moments are the little thing. And it's very simple in that regard, and you can also link it to other characters. I have yet to do that with mine, but you can also label them, so you can add colors and categorize in that sense. So it's simple, but you can also have it be a little bit more complex if you see fit. This isn't a direct feature, I think, but it's something that I noticed a lot more, I guess, as I've gone and expanded my OC universe and gone into the depths of everything. I also enjoy the amount of questions that they add in each category. It has me thinking in depth about specific parts of my OC universe, how they socialize, what their lifestyle is like, personal background. Those aren't really things that I think about on the get-go. So to be able to fill out all of those really specific questions about my character, I think adds another layer of depth onto them. And I love being able to go down to like the very itty-bitty details about my characters, and I think Foretelling has just a great way of applying myself in that sense. And there was also just a bunch of really cool things in species. I was going through and adding a bunch of species, but you can also add like very, very specific things like their reproduction, social behavior, ecology, and I'm like, whoa, I would have never actually thought about that unless, it was already an attribute that I could look into. And so I was going through that, and I think it is just so, so cool. Again, if you like a lot of details or yapping about particular things in your OCs, or just elements as a whole, then you are going to love the amount of things that you can answer in Foretelling. Yeah, I think that brings me to the end of every feature that I really like. I could be forgetting some, and I thought it would be cool to make a whole video on it, so I do think there are a lot more features that are hidden behind their pro feature, and I think I just need to talk about that a little bit because there are some features that, I haven't talked about that are probably present in the pro version of the application. You can get custom templates, the public wiki, so you can share all of the information or specific bits of information to basically anyone who has the link. And for extra context, Foretelling is a private application, so unless you share it with other collaborators or share it publicly through the public wiki, then everything is private. I don't think it can be scraped the same way that other writing apps have been before, like Character Hub and some of the other ones when that data scrape happened. There's just a bunch of other features that are locked behind Pro, and there is monthly and annual plans, but one of the things I really, really like, and I will be saving for, is the fact that you can just purchase it once and then never again, because I feel like this is just a personal gripe of mine that every other application right now is requiring a monthly or annual subscription, and it drives me insane. And I think that's one of the reasons I stopped using Flip-a-Clip, is because why would they do that? And I know it's probably to generate more revenue, but man, it's just really frustrating that you have to continuously redeem and put money into this when you could just buy it and then be done. So I'm really happy that Foretelling just has a one-time purchase all pro features. It is very pricey, but I think in comparison to just having to buy it over and over again, it makes the most sense, and I will be saving for it because I really do want to try a bunch of these features in the pro section, and if I ever do, I'll make a video on that. That's basically all I wanted to talk about. If there's anything in particular you want to know about Foretelling, I can try to answer it. Again, I'm just somebody who really likes Foretelling. This isn't like a sponsored thing or anything, so, I'm not very official in this video. But yeah, That's all.